Welcome to The Shield Within. The issues discussed on the Shield Within podcast do not reflect the opinions of any specific agency. They are the views of the host and the guest. Any persons discussed may be fictional for comedic purposes only. This podcast is rated explicit and listener discretion is advised. Listening to The Shield Within may trigger repressed or suppressed memories or experiences. Please contact a mental health professional at your earliest convenience. It's time for the chaos to cease.
Time to open yourself to peace.
From the hours you've put in.
To the next shift you begin.
From the endless pursuit of release.
That finds the worst unleashed.
Transform the ugly into a win.
Get to know your shield within.
And we're back. Welcome to The Shield Within.
Welcome, Mark.
We have the FD, Donnie.
Hola.
And the Kelly that was frozen there momentarily.
Well done.
Say hi, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Your adoring fans out there. Someone ever put a picture of the
Hello,
Kelly up?
Oh, thanks.
Everybody loves Kelly.
Good.
So, let's do a little business. So if you're out on the socials, and we know you are, Facebook / The Shield Within, or you can go to our website, www.shieldwithin.com, see our smiling faces and the Hedgehog Donnie. Yeah. If that traumatizes you and you need some help, you can hit the coaching button, and Dr. David will be able to help you work through your PTSD issues, or we can refer you to a good counselor in your area of the world, or you can go to David's website, which is lessonslearnedcoaching.com. What's your farthest away client now, sir?
Nobody new has been added to the outer range, so it's still the gentleman in New Hampshire.
Oh, cool.
Who has gone through some changes in his life, and I think maybe thinking about living in Maine, which I suppose would stretch the limit out a little bit, but yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Or if you got that extra money laying around, Patreon / The Shield Within will get you there. So, how we doing? It's wintertime. Mm-hmm. We're all here. Had a decent day today, but it's cold here in Ohio. But it's kind of what we're talking about on this episode. We just got done interviewing Brad Goss, which was just a great time. Can't wait to get that up and running. But he's a comedian. He does, is it parody? Is that the right word? Of children's books. They're not real children's.
They're not children's books. Don't say that.
Children's books. We did a bit on there. He's like, go to Amazon, read the #1 rating on his books. And it's like, this is they're grooming kids and blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, he's a comedian. These are joke books. It just blew me away. It's kind of like how I found him, because I bought some of his product as Christmas presents this year. So, and once I ran across him, because I find him on Facebook. He does videos, short videos there, and he does short videos on Instagram and TikTok, and it's just funny because what is that website? Omegle?
Omegle,
yes.
It's
like where it's just like random chatting with different people. So he's in his studio and he's like, all right, I got some children's books I'll read to you. And he starts, which one do you want,
Right.
He reads his books to these people. It's just funny. To me, I think it's hilarious. But, everybody's like, well, what's that got to do with, wellness? I said, well, Jesus, guys, just laugh a little bit. Let's have some fun in life.
Right.
It's not that bad. Mm-hmm. It's not that dark. And that's the best thing. Although I got a quick story for you before we get going. This what reminded me of things. So just so for everyone knows, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag, so we say. I'm developing some more merch, which we're going to do a challenge coin. Mm-hmm. So we've been batting that idea back and forth. So I was explaining to my 83-year-old aunt this past Sunday about our challenge coin. I said, we put on the back our 4 F's, which is family, faith, friends, and favorite activities. And I'm just talking along, and she says, but Mark, what about fucking?
Yes. What about it? What did you say?
She says, you gotta have fucking on there because that's a very vital part of life as well.
Are we adding that to the challenge?
And I said, I'm really uncomfortable right now.
No, you weren't. You were not uncomfortable.
So we have to say the 5 F's. So for some of us, like me, the fucking is what's got me into trouble.
I thought that was the silent S.
Yeah.
We all know.
It's a PH.
Okay.
One of those speechless moments in life. What do you say to that? I mean, thanks for sharing
Yes.
that,
Hey,
Aunt.
Auntie. What?
Are you talking present tense or are you talking past tense? I mean, just how busy are you, Aunt?
Active.
I guess, having a good, what do I say, healthy sex life. Wow.
Jesus
You're giving
I've
me
got
this
nothing.
look.
All I have in my head is Mom, Dad, and Chad. No.
From Brad Goss's books. Or my favorite, Mom runs trains with Dad's friends on the weekends.
She's a conductor.
Which I bought that for Washburn, since he's
He
literally an
is
engineer.
a trained conductor.
So everybody he works with thought that was hilarious. So I guess
Oh
they
my
all
gosh.
bought that. But anyway,
It's fun.
what good ways are we doing out there to be doing some self-care to take care of ourselves over the wintertime? And I really hate the winter. I hate the short days. I hate the cold.
That's why you bought a Florida house.
Exactly.
And then here you are.
And then here I am, yeah.
Dead of freaking nasty snow.
Yeah, the majority of our time down to Sunshine State. But, getting out, I've been finding myself, because Susan's down there, and throughout the week, I just feel like myself, I'm isolating again. I'm just like, I got to get the hell out of the house and go get active and get around people, and going down to the gym again. Of course, it's a fucking zoo since all the, what do we call them? The New Year's resolution.
New Year's,
Yeah. January's a tough time to go.
I feel like you should include yourself in that.
I am. But I go sporadically throughout the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In January.
Well, I go during the summer too.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I would rather go there and lay in the suntan bed than be out. That way kind of evens the tan out, because I wear shorts all summer long. So from the ankles down, I'm like lily white from where I wear my socks and
You
shoes.
wear your socks in the pool.
Yeah,
At the
and-
clubhouse in Florida. Weirdo.
Yeah, and then I go to the pool and they're like, "What's with the tan, dude?"
What medical condition is that?
Yeah, exactly.
That looks serious. Is it contagious? White feet.
Fuck you, Kelly. Yeah, you were down. It was last year you came down.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
I came down twice.
Drunk.
The first time.
Don't
The
get
second time
drunk
I brought
on
my
your-
kids.
Right.
And I wasn't drunk then.
Still got my favorite picture of your son.
Oh, God. I don't know what it
He
was.
so mad.
Which one?
When we were coming, we rented. Well, we didn't. Yeah, we all did. We rented a boat.
Oh,
So
on the boat.
so we took the
Look at
pontoon
those
boat.
feet. That is
Is
a
that you?
crime.
Yeah, what medical condition?
That's
Yeah.
what Mark sent me.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Topical ointment 4 times a day, please.
But we were on our way back. The wind had kicked up. And poor Mark, Kelly's about a half
my
was
Mark.
driving. So we're up. We're like, I'm in the back because it's like 4-foot swells.
In this boat that we had to
and
take
it's
back for the first time,
relentless.
we took it out
Just
because it was a mess.
Up and hit, and then
Oh,
when we
yeah,
hit the
it was
wave,
so
it was just soaking us in salt water.
And it was cold water. It was not warm.
No.
And the wind was blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Elliot
Dying
wanted to
laughing.
stay out.
Yeah,
he was so mad we were going, and then we're all just drenched. Our towels
Cold,
are drenched.
hungry.
Poor Mark's taking it in the face the whole time.
Donnie, it was blasts of water. Like
Oh, I'm sorry.
way
It's water.
No,
Never mind.
Yeah,
Right.
He's taking blasts
It
of.
was like a Bukkake movie.
Oh, it was so much water. gallons at a time.
Right.
Tasted so salty. Eyes and nose and mouth just everywhere.
He was a trooper, though.
Well, we look over, we talk about it quite often, actually, that experience, because Sarge was just dying laughing. He could not hold it together. And we're just like, boom, boom, like hitting these big waves. We're going way too fast. The storm is definitely like right on top of us. We have a toddler in the boat.
And Maggie.
And
Maggie
a
was
dog
pup,
in the boat.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She was inside her little puppy bag.
Susan is on the boat. We're all just like miserable. And Sarge just starts busting out laughing so hard. He's like, what else do you do? Just
It was so
crack up.
Because poor Mark couldn't catch it. Yeah, I mean, if he stopped,
Like, he had to
we
get us home.
stop.
It
he
got
was
worse, yeah.
whoosh. And the miserable windshield that was in front of me just did nothing. We hit a wave, and it was just like a 5-gallon bucket of water in his face.
Oh, right in his face.
Whoosh.
Like nothing you could do about it. I remember, like, when we first started going, I was like to the right side of the boat and to the left side of the boat, trying to figure out like where can I sit and not get soaked. And there's nowhere on the boat I could sit.
No.
So I'm like, well, that's great. Love that.
No, you finally come back. There's like a bar in the back of the boat.
There wasn't.
So at least you weren't getting totally soaked back there.
It was bad though.
So she comes back there with me and got behind Mark, because Mark was like, he was like the breakwater. And she's like, well, it is a little better back here.
Yeah, because my husband's taking it all first. That's fun.
Yeah, drop your window in there, but
Yeah.
it was so funny. So we finally get back, we get the boat back, and we're all soaked. I mean, everything we have is drenched.
Yeah.
So we get dressed, and I forgot about it because I wear product in my hair because it's so thin. I mean, so we go to dinner. Let's go to dinner, and my hair is just, I look like Sideshow Bob. I mean, my shit is everywhere. And Kelly's like, put a hat on. I can't look at you.
You gotta go to the bathroom. You gotta fix that.
You got to do something with it.
I'm not going
and
there.
I never thought about like bringing some hairspray or something. I'm like, fuck it. So I had this stupid, like a boonie hat that I had to wear through
Like
dinner.
a Gilligan Island hat.
I was more annoyed by that fucking hat and the fact that my hair, I looked like Sideshow Bob, my hair blowing all over my head.
It was fun. I just remember freezing on a patio eating like fish and chips.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
It was good food, and they
Yeah, it
had
was there in
music.
Hudson, yeah.
Yeah, they had music, so kind of a good ending to the nightmarish boat rental.
Well, but the beginning
I'd
of
do
the
it
day
again.
was great.
I'd do it again.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's funny stuff like that. I mean, to take care of yourself over the wintertime, you know, get out, get your ass to the gym. And I was we had our sergeant's episode last night. Sergeant Chris was talking about, you know, going to the gym, you know, to take care of yourself and to keep yourself sharp, you know, for when you're out there on the job, you know, because like with me, I wish I was as fat as when I thought I was fat.
Oh man, if I could.
No
Same.
shit.
I'm like, girl, you're fat. No, you're not. Go back to that.
Looking at some photos, because we had the episode that's up right now is the campfire stories
Right.
with Dan and Kelly, and I
Right.
put up our Thank God We're Alive photo, and then we did Shop with the Cop below it because we're all in the same sequence.
Or thank God that was the inauguration.
Yeah, the inauguration.
Gala.
Gala, yeah. When, but anyway, we talked about that during that episode. But you know, I was thinking, man, I thought I was so fat in that photo.
Yeah, I remember.
Pay $100 to be that fat again.
I know. I'd probably pay $4,000 to go back. Might as well get a surgery, I guess. But I'm gonna pay that money.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I think everybody does that. I see that a lot on social media. They're like, if I could go back to when I thought I was fat,
Right.
like that would be great.
And well, but that's how I got to where I was now. It's just eating the wrong foods. I mean, the scale's starting to slide backwards. Legit. I mean, I'm down a
Yeah.
couple inches.
Oh, we
on my waistline,
Congratulations,
on my
man.
penis, Donnie. But thank you.
That's where I was going.
Oh, I know.
Well, I was not going there.
Oh, you were. We
you
know where
were.
you were going. In the hotel waiting for him at the La Quinta.
That's right.
You're at the La Quinta waiting.
He's at the roadway. He didn't stay anywhere nice.
They closed that one down.
Did they?
Yeah, you got to go to La Quinta.
La Quinta? Yeah. Donnie's at the Super 9 or whatever the hell it is. They want to pay
The Holiday fucking Inn.
Is that where you're at?
I am.
Sweet. But anyway, get to the gym. In meditation, people talk about suntan beds and all that, but I can still tell you that 10 minutes of meditation inside that bed, it's the best 10 minutes of the day. It really is. I put on the ocean sounds, and you're in that forced or that intensive light.
Right.
And it's just, to me, it's just really refreshing to come out of that, especially after a good workout.
It's warm. Right?
Yes. Yes.
And really, you naked.
Yes, exactly. All that feels real. It's like being in a womb.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's just good to, work on those things that brings the happiness. And the nice thing about it is we're on the other side of the winter solstice, so our days are getting longer.
Right.
Thankfully. Have something there, and you're just breathing into the mic.
No, it's still really far away, though. I know you say we're on the other side, but I'm like, it's so far away.
Right. What time is it now? You gotta look at my watch.
6:40.
Yeah, it's 20:07. It's pitch black out.
Right.
But
why do I live here?
Exactly. Well, you could live up in Greenland when you only have 4 hours a day of light.
That's almost America.
Almost.
Yeah,
almost.
Negotiations.
That's right.
Well, it's currently 5:40 here, and it's darker than shit.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
are you in
Central
Chicago?
Well, south of Danville.
Oh, yeah. I know where Danville's at. That's all.
There's a dispensary right down the road here. It's dispensary and music.
Oh, I like it.
A music store and dispensary. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna have to go check it out here shortly.
Yeah. Take your gummies.
I might have some with me. So, do any of you guys use do you guys do a New Year's resolution?
No.
Me either.
David?
Well,
you do New Year's resolution?
Not really. I've never done a New Year's resolution. I have goals connected to time, but never like a New Year's resolution. Next year, I'm gonna no.
Yeah.
Not a me thing.
I did.
What'd you do,
I did
Kelly?
this year. So I have 4. First one was feeling. So I read this book.
Do what?
I know. I read this book called
Keep your hands to
Worthy,
yourself.
and so chill for a sec. I read a book called Worthy, and it was basically just diving into not selling yourself short all the time, and I like to do that, or give too much of myself, or feel like I'm not enough, or I don't deserve to sit at a table that I'm at, or be involved, or like of course weight related, right? Like every person in the beginning of the year wants to do something weight related, like this is what I'm going to do. It's almost like not feeling like I deserve to be that happy with my weight because of the choices that I've made in the past. So like getting in the mindset to lose the weight that I want to lose, or to focus on it, was more important to me than saying, oh, I'm going to work out. Plus I have a back injury right now. So
how's that going?
It's terrible. I just switched chiropractors though. I talked to a couple people who kind of I trust as far as like medical decisions go, and I switched chiropractors actually this Tuesday. So today was my second appointment with him, and I'm already like 70% better.
Oh, great.
Which is insane. So even a holistic approach, like you still have to make sure you're picking the right person.
Yeah.
But back to the book, it just kind of, I read it before the end of the year, so I want to take that into this year, into 2025, know that I'm worthy of anything that I feel like I deserve, or something that I want. So if I want to be healthy and I want to be physically fit, I know that I deserve to be, but my mind has to be right before I can just eat and do the workouts. Like it's a choice to be healthy, and I'm capable of making that choice. And we get to make that choice. So that's kind of the hard part about it. But, and then in business, of course, I have, down to like, I've time blocked for real estate business and with my team members. So holding my team members more accountable for production, for following up things I let go last year. Because I just don't want to give my time away anymore. So my time is valuable, and I'm worthy of making my time valuable and saying no more. So those are mine. Donnie, do you have any?
I do not. I just had that question because it's like I don't want to set myself up for failure already.
Wise.
Right.
So I do not do that.
Yes.
But I agree with you. That's why I think it's the mindset is more important, right? Like, so we talk about mental health and we talk about getting right and what that looks like, and the environment doesn't have to be perfect, but damn, your mind has to be involved. You know, you just have to make that commitment and say, this is a choice. Like, whether it's with alcohol, you know, if I don't want to drink anymore, okay, that's great, but that's a choice that I get to make. I get to make that choice still. Until it's, you know, some people don't get to make that choice so easily, but so like if that was it, or, you know, if it's getting in the gym more, I have a home gym. I have no reason to not be. Right now I can't. My chiropractor was like, please don't do anything yet, but
well, you know, I
finally walking without a limp for 2 months.
I know you were miserable. That's why I felt so bad about it.
I recorded a podcast on the floor in here. Couldn't move. Could not move.
Mark always walks with it limp.
I didn't want to experience that at a young age.
It's because of you, Donnie.
I'm aware.
But, you know, getting into the gym, start doing them things, concentrate on your 4Fs. Talk to a colleague that reached out. And basically, we went to lunch. I thought he wanted to meet with, you know, a group of us. And he's like, no, I really just need to talk to you. Oh, okay. Now I'm picking up what you're laying down. So we went to brunch. Of course, in my favorite restaurant, I went to George's, and you know, we're just sitting there and we're talking, and he's telling me his story, and you know how one day he woke up and this is how he felt, and I'm dead. Welcome to the club, brother. You know, and I said, oh yeah, no problem. And you know, had some outbursts of emotion, and I said, well, you know, when this happens, this is like trying to pick up sand with your fingers spread. You know, like with me, my experience was, you know, once my Pandora's box came open, I can't get the shit back in.
Right.
You know, and I still can't. And so I told him, if you're used to living shut down and you're used to having all that in control and you're taking care of it, and whatever life event it was that opened it up, you're not going to put it back. You know, you're Humpty Dumpty. You're broke.
Right.
And you're going to need some professional help. And, of course, I referred my good friend here, Dr. David, and I said, please give him. He said, what's that going to cost us? It ain't going to cost you a fucking dime, bro. 15-minute freebie. And every therapist that you speak to should be giving you a 15-minute freebie. They should not be charging for it.
Right.
I said, you know, and I thanked him for having the courage and the energy to have this talk, because that takes a lot of work. And I said, you know, here's the thing, don't be upset if you finally get with the therapist and they say it's going to be a while. I said, but what I can tell you, the therapists that we've had on this show, they're all very, very busy after they come on the Shield Within. I mean, very, very busy. And the one was doing family, Melanie Palmer.
Right.
She was doing family work and couples work, and now it's all just strictly first responders.
Right.
You know, because she's in an area of Ohio that a lot of police agencies there.
Absolutely.
So, but I told him, I said, it's been kind of my experience. I'm not saying that, you know, we're like rainmakers, but I said, if Dr. David gives a recommendation to call and they know that, they'll find a spot for you pretty quick. You won't have to wait 6 or 8 weeks or whatever. You know, generally, I said, it's probably within, you know, a couple weeks that they'll have a cancellation for you. And, you know, him and I had a good talk, and he's all apologized. I said, dude, don't apologize. You know, trying to fight back the tears, and you know, use the great line. You know, you don't suppress an orgasm or a sneeze while you're suppressing your tears. So
I suppress it all. No sneezes or orgasms.
I thought you faked it off.
No.
Faked one, suppressed the other. But you call me a what?
Gotcha.
See, now I can do my drum.
Serious.
There we go.
Donnie's like, quit doing the sounds. I hate to have the extra track.
He loves to be able to do that.
Yeah, I do. I do. I actually do.
He told me, he's like, I'm going to piss Donnie off all day. I'm going to hit it 5
I am
times.
not a bit surprised.
Just kidding.
Well, there's 2. We got 3 more.
I think he hit it twice just then.
That's what she said.
There's number 4.
Oh, dear.
But anyway,
Sarge,
go ahead.
do you have any?
I have goals. I don't do New Year's resolutions because, the older you get, and David, would you agree that time slips? I mean, and it goes quick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, I used the analogy the other day. It's like taking a deck of cards, and it's like 52 days has gone
52
by.
pickup.
Yeah, it's just like to me, that's how quick the year's going. Mm-hmm. And in my recent memory, I was trying to find photos for this morning's posting, and I'm scrolling back. It's like I was thinking it was in like a couple of weeks ago, but it's like back in October. It's like it doesn't seem like October was 3 months ago.
Yeah.
What was October?
That when we did our, isn't that when Dan was no. Anyway, I was looking for photos.
No.
I was looking for photos. They were older photos.
Yeah.
For but what I'm saying is I'm going back through my photos and they're dated. It's like, oh shit, this is June. I mean, I didn't realize that much time had it just been so quick. Is the point I'm trying to make.
Right.
So in going in and doing the socials every day and keeping that up, and the days are just going quick. I mean, for a retired guy, it's like. It seems like it was just yesterday we ended the driving season, and we're going back to work here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
starting back with 2025 season.
Oh my gosh!
But it seems like the older you get, the quicker time slips away.
It feels that way. There's a lot of parents. There's a sports podcast that I listen to has a great way of phrasing this. When you're a parent, the days are long and the years fly by, and that's true.
Yeah.
If you're a parent, the days sometimes just feel like a week. Mm-hmm. Easy. Mm-hmm. But then the years, they're flying. Those kids are getting older, bigger. There's your life, as a family, you're developing all the time. So you're going through transitions from this to that to this to that, and next thing you know, your kid's graduating from college. And there's a lot of families of varying types that I have worked with over the last 4 years where, man, having an empty nest coming scares the shit out of me.
Oh, yeah.
I see this time where it's just going to be my wife and me, my husband and me. Yeah. What are we going to do?
And I hate her.
That's good.
I don't want to spend time with you.
All we're going to do all day long is just talk to each other. I mean, yeah. So like we had Wives in Line Part 2, when we talked about retirement, there's a necessity.
You mean the latest Wives on Line?
Yeah, the latest one. Yeah, on the January 1. You find other things to do to keep from driving each other crazy.
Right.
And going to the gym. I've got a lot of people right now that we're talking about how do something that involves service. I know it's winter, so there are going to be days when you have something scheduled to do that you can't do it because of the roads, whatever. But your church has something that they need somebody to help with.
Oh, yeah.
Think about doing that. There's a soup kitchen somewhere in your neighborhood, most likely. They probably need volunteers.
Yep.
And look for something that gets you out of thinking about yourself. Because what happens in winter when you're isolating? What do you do in your head?
Yeah.
Self-sabotage.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You build up an inventory of all the shit. You know, you have this incredible list of this ain't right, this ain't right, this ain't. It just, you get really embedded in a negative mindset. And I'm just sitting here listening to y'all talk about New Year's resolutions, and I'm thinking, there are 4 months during the year where my clients, when I had my practice, it was very predictable. 4 months during the year when crises would jack way the hell up. And the first one was February. Oh. And it was always the same thing. It has been so fucking dark for so long, right. I can't take it anymore. Yeah. And people's moods just dive. Like, I could get through the holidays, I could get through the New Year's, you know. Maybe I do have a New Year's resolution. I got something to commit myself to. But February,
Yeah, February's tough.
Done
Yeah.
with this. And so there were, for my folks, there was a common thread of depression increasing.
Yeah.
And so this year, my folk, let's prevent that. Mm-hmm. And the 4Fs is a big one, absolutely. I have a lady in Marysville that I absolutely enjoyed working with. What's a book you would love to read? And so she told me about this character in this series of like 12, 15 books. That's what you do in February. You don't start that series until February 1. And so you've got something to really look forward to, and then you dive into it. And so that's what she's not exactly waited till February 1, but she's got this books, got them all lined up. She reread a couple of the first in the series, and she's ready to enjoy that. Same thing with another late mom here in Troy. Her kids are doing really, really well. She needs some time for self.
Yeah.
So you get done, the kids are in bed, you got a little hour or two to yourself. So she's finding something to stream that she can really sink herself into, gets her head out of her work and out of her kids' lives, and just enjoy, relax, sit down with a drink or a cup of cider, whatever it is, and just enjoy watching something. So kind of line up things for February that are going to give you pleasure. If that's the gym, go to the gym.
Shut up, Donnie.
Silence is golden right here.
Yeah, right.
And so that for me is a key thing for the folks I'm working with, is to prevent the downshift in mood that happens to so many people in February because of the length of day, the amount of darkness that we live through November through February. It's just like, it's exhausting.
And thank God it's only 28 days. Shortest month of the year is February.
But the best day is the 13th.
Right, it is. That's a matter of fact. Which Brad Goss book did you want for your birthday?
Yeah.
Mom swinger party.
I don't know. I have to look.
Kelly doesn't seem like the swinger type.
She's not.
Well, Mark does not.
No.
Or the train, running a train on her, so can't do that either.
As exhilarating as that sounds, no thanks.
That's just so funny.
I was going to make it worse and say, I wanted the freak off one from Diddy.
Diddy's freak off party.
Diddy's
you got
freak off. No.
We'll just get your whole series.
Oh my gosh. Dad's a cuck.
We're going to throw this
Mike
up.
Litt shouldn't be hard to find.
Never.
And jobs for the whole family.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of curious about Becky the Throat Goat. Because there's a puppet.
Right. Well, he made a puppet of Becky the Throat Goat.
You see that.
Which is ironic because Washburn's...
But she was born with an oversized throat so grand. We have to stop. Those books are too much.
Not for children. They are not children's books. They are joke books, everybody. So if you're listening.
Joke.
From Canada, you can go and see Brad Goss live.
Laws are different up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they are.
So what Dr. Dave was saying.
Totally lost what we were talking about.
Dr. David was saying we need to have a plan. If you have a plan for February, that it can keep your mind right and get you through the dark times of the 28 days of death.
That's right.
28 days of Ohio hell. Yeah. I don't know.
For those of us that don't have a house in Florida, still got shorter nights down there, though, because it's darker a half hour sooner in Florida.
That's right.
Than what it is here in Ohio.
It's also hotter.
Well, right, but it hasn't been, though. It's been cold. It's been in the 30s down there. That's what I was telling Susan before she left. I'm like, look, see, it's 37 there in Timber Pines. She's like,
-5 here.
She's like, it's going to be
That's a heat wave.
There. Right. Right.
Very different.
What's the sun look like? Does anybody remember?
Well, it was sunny today for a little bit. Too bad you were working.
I was inside all day.
But we're also talking about making a plan, not only making a plan for February, but for those of us that are getting ready to retire from law enforcement, start thinking about what you're going to do.
Absolutely.
Have something planned out. And the problem is with a lot of guys, they're just like deer in the headlights. I got 8 years in drop, and I'm at 6.5, and I got a year and a half to go, and I'm out of here. What am I going to do? There's all kinds of things to be doing out there.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's limitless.
And I was talking with a recently retired and friend that, and they do the, try and find another job. Do I need to work somewhere?
Right. Right.
Get all their honeydew work done, and now what? Or like what you said, now they're home every day, and the spouse is like, go find a job or do something. You're under my feet.
Yeah.
I'm not used to you being here all the time, and then you have to deal with all that more depression.
Yes, it generates conflict, and it's kind of meaningless conflict. It's just the kind of thing where if one of you would just leave for a few hours, the whole thing is different.
Well, and I like the volunteer thing, our aspect of it. John Holland, God rest his soul, when he retired from the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, he went and volunteered at the hospital. He was a wheelchair jockey.
Yes, exactly.
So for 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, he went down to the community hospital.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a process you go through to do that. You need to be a volunteer. He loved it.
Yeah.
He said it's the best damn job I ever had. So him and his wife would go there from like 11 to 2.
Yeah.
For 3 days a week, and they just go to whatever room, pick a person up, take them out, put them in the car, go get the next one. And he said he just loved that job. And I said, well, good for you. It's like with me at the church, I want to do more volunteer work there.
Right.
That's a lot of people's like volunteer work. And I think volunteer work is a lot like tithing with your church.
Yes.
That's just another layer if you don't have money, because one guy's like, well, your church just wants your money. So, well, nothing in life is free, bro. And I can tell you, every time I've given, and there's been times where I've been so broke, I put my last $20 into the basket, and just went on pure faith.
Yeah.
And I was rewarded the next day.
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow. They're like, well, I'm like, no, I had no idea. I'd overpaid on our homeowner's insurance. Well, that check would have came anyway. Well, I didn't know that.
That's right.
At the time I put the money in, I didn't know that was showing up.
Right.
But there's a lot of times where you got to get back to that faith based, and you have to keep that as a viable part of your life. And there's people that are agnostics that don't believe that, and it kind of, in a way, it kind of makes me feel not sorry but sad, because I know that once I've gotten back to my faith, that, or whatever your higher power is, doesn't necessarily be Christianity. It's just whatever higher power that you have, through that belief system, that where life is a lot better. Would you agree with that, Donnie?
Yes, sir.
And you do your volunteering.
There's one thing we talk about.
You're all faded and froze. Did you forget to pay your internet at your, where's he at?
Holiday Inn in Danville, Illinois.
He froze up. He's got his mouth open. It's kind of funny looking. There he is. There he's back.
There we go. I see it came back now. Sorry. Well, one thing at my church, we talk about our time, talent, and resources. That's one thing that we say instead of, your giving and stuff like that, but you can give to your church by doing your time, talent, and resources. So that's why, I do the audio. I mean, I'm not saying I don't tithe, but I'm just saying, I do the audio and stuff like that at church for that purpose. So, I mean, it's one thing I do on the side, and I enjoy doing it. So,
it's like Mark said with the money, even there are Sunday mornings or whatever, when you're exhausted and the last thing you have is energy to do that, but you go do it.
Correct. Yep.
You have to create that habit.
Yes.
Because I remember when I first walked into your office, that was the first thing out of your mouth. What are you doing? Do you do this? No. What about your friends? No. You going to church? No. Okay.
Right.
So let's get this started back. So the first thing I did, off David's recommendation, was go back to church.
Right.
And that was a lot of emotion going on there when I first went back in. And of course, of the Catholic faith, we have confession. So, when it went through that process, and it's just all about, cleansing your soul.
Yeah.
But not everyone has that same experience. What I like about the Catholic Mass is the ritual of it. You know, and but I've had, the one thing I don't like about Catholicism is that we really don't know the Bible by the numbers. You know, to start quoting, you know, scripture and book and, you know, and all that. So that's just not how the faith runs. But what I do now is I look at, you know, they'll do the reading, the gospel according to whatever, and they'll say, you know, Matthew from, you know, 5:9, because that's blessed are the peacemakers. Anyway, they'll say that in there, but then I'll go to that section of the Bible and I'll read during that time to be able to have that, take in the whole part of what they're talking about that day. But you know, get yourself prepared, get out of the house, start doing things. It's like with me here lately, this batch of the full moon, and I was just feeling really depressed. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And I walked out of the house and I looked up and I sent you all a picture. And I'm like, well, this makes sense now. And usually I'm given the full moon warnings, but it seems like it's I've lost track of it. It's like earlier in the month now. It was the end of the month. So here we are. What is the day? The 15th? 16th. Yeah, see, I lost a day. Generally, it's, you know, like now to the end of the month, but it's sooner for whatever reason. And I'm always talking about keeping that app on my phone for what moon phase it is. But, you know, you just, to me, the energy has just been so negative. I mean, what about you, Kelly? You good?
Depleted. Energy is depleted.
Tired.
I was damn near ready to take a pregnancy test. I was like, why am I so tired? I just feel like I have no energy. It could be because I'm almost 35. My birthday's coming up. My midlife crisis. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just felt like I had no energy. So when you put that in the group chat, I was like, is this it? Maybe it's my mood being poor. It's making me not want to do anything. But I also just bought a new house to flip. So I've been working on that.
You're working on your house. I got a house I'm working on.
We talked about that. I was like, I'm flipping my house. You're working on your mother-in-law's house. I did want to say something though. So the last podcast that we just recorded right before this one, Brad was talking about depression maybe being in the car. And so Dr. David, you were talking about having that plan and that prep. And then Sarge, you were talking about retirement, and it just was all kind of coming together. When you retire, you probably don't know that depression is in the car because you're not addressing it.
Analogy. Yes.
And then it's just like, so then you have all this time.
Well done.
And we see it a lot, right? We see these, and you were talking about like not having direction after retirement. And I'm thinking like, I've seen that so many times where people who you think are the healthiest person and they're excited to retire, then they retire, then they get depressed and they have a heart attack or, you know, something. It just becomes so much because like Dr. David said, they don't have a plan. And depression's in the car and they don't know it.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then it creeps.
Like the mother in the back seat.
Yeah. And so then you approach that time. And then if you don't have that plan and you don't have the faith and the friends and the family, or even like just identify that it's probably in the car, just look at it. Because Brad said he's not depressed, right? And that's great. And he has a lot of things going for him and he, you know, he doesn't feel it.
Right.
But he does identify. And you could see it kind of processing. He's like, well, it could be there. Right. But he probably didn't really think about that until we had the talk.
Right.
So like if more people would just identify where it could be, you could maybe prevent it from driving your car off the bridge.
Exactly.
So
Depression River.
I mean, I've got some.
Go ahead, Donnie.
I still have something on that too. It's like, you know, I talked to you guys previously about, you know, centering, and that was one thing I had, you know, driving down the road, and, you know, certain shit just started coming to my head. And, you know, like I said, I sat there and like David said, do the finger tap, do whatever, you know, that's one thing I think we need to talk to our listeners about is what to do, how to center. Because with that day, you know, like I said, I got everything clear. I was cool. I turned around on 75 and 70. There's a fucking state trooper car right there, and instantly everything popped right back in my head. And that's why I was talking about the centering, and it's one thing I would like to still be able to go over. And I know David, I talked about this, about trying to explain to the listeners what you can do when that shit does hit you.
Yeah. There's so many things. My wife just told me one last week that I love. We've talked about how to use the vagus nerve to stimulate relaxation. And there's a lot of ways to do that. There are places on your body to press. But one of the things that Beth taught me last week that she got into training was humming stimulates the vagal nerve. And so I'm like humming all the fucking time now. and I have been listening to a lot of music, and I find for the folks I'm dealing with, for example, a gentleman in a parking lot at work who's having a panic attack. He went to his car. I said, okay, consider putting some music on quietly or loud, whatever you need. I mean, I had this other dude that is much younger. He needs to go out in his car when he's having a panic attack at work and put on something jarring, really like, wow, just
a little Pantera.
Yeah. And he puts on something that's just going to make his head, woo. And then for the other dude, he needed something really quiet. Man, if I could turn on music, it's okay, turn it on quiet then. But turn on something, that you're familiar with or is soothing to you. Humming, tapping. I love the thing that we talked about with Jerry Kanapke of orienting, where you're grounding yourself by working your senses. What is right in front of you? What do you see? What colors are there? What shapes are there? How are those things, objects, connected to each other? What are you hearing? Open up your ears, roll down the car window, listen to the birds, the cars, the traffic, whatever. Orient to that. What are you smelling right now? Your own fear? Maybe. Maybe you open the car window and you smell bread, food, shit. Who knows what you smell? But if you have something in the car, bad fart, whatever. So if you have something in the car to put in your mouth, like I think maybe you and I talked about that. If you have a gummy, that might be a time to have those in the car for those moments. And so there's a lot of things to do. Grounding is a really powerful one to me, always has been. If I could just stop what's going on and pay attention, where am I? What do I see around me? And then maybe focus on something, see how the colors are. That row of mugs up on top of the case, you can look at each one and you're going to see something different. And if you look outside the window to the left or to the right and you focus on the trees, the traffic, the signs, whatever, you're going to see stuff to focus on. Do that. That's a really good one. I love belly breathing. I taught myself this a long time ago, or I should say my music teacher taught this to me a long time ago. I did a ton of singing when I was in junior high and high school. And I was taught really early on, dude, you're not breathing right. You're never going to sing well if you don't breathe right. Right. So I learned how to do belly breathing when I was a teenager. Every breath I take is belly breathing. Literally. It's habit now. Total habit. But teaching somebody to do that, teaching yourself how to belly breathe, you will control your panic states. Period. If you can teach yourself to belly breathe, sudden or chronic anxiety, either one, man, it just doesn't hang around when you can do that.
Isn't it a little bit like, what do they call it, Lamaze? You're getting your
pregnancy.
Well, but the purpose of that is you focus on the breathing. You're not focusing on the pain.
Precise.
So if you're focusing on grounding, it's feet flat on the floor, hands on top of the knees, and start, that 4 square or 4 panel breathing, 4 seconds in, hold it for 4 seconds. Push it out, hold it out for 4 seconds. And that works so well, to derail a panic attack, to just get you out of this funky mindset, get out and walk. I took Maggie out for a walk the other day, just to get out of the damn. I never left the house yesterday. I was joking. When David got here today, his car's still covered in snow because he hasn't driven it in a week. And Kelly's like, where the hell have you been? Had your car buried or what?
Did you live in an igloo? Why is there still snow up there?
But some people just don't go out in the wintertime. They just don't get out of the house. And that was kind of my thing. It was good to go work on the house because it gave me something to go do. Not that I'm looking for something to do,
right?
But it's a sense of accomplishment. It's a small house. It's an easy flip, but it needs a little bit of love here and there. And I'm like, I'm not going to pay a contractor to do this. I can do this myself. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's a drive down there and a drive back, and a little bit of organization. I still have a house here I got to take care of and things to do. Mm-hmm. But that sense of grounding, and it's the beauty of spending so much money on mental health and all that. So when I am getting triggered, it's like I know what's coming on with this full moon. I know the energy's there. I should have just checked the app and said, oh yeah, this is what's going on. Now I know why I'm feeling so bad. But this one here just seems to have a lot of energy, negative energy this time around. It's a 3 or 4 day phase. I know I'm going to feel better here soon, another day or so. But tonight was fun. That way we had Brad on and laughed my ass off there the whole time. So, but that's there again. That's that connection. Let's come on. Let's have some fun. And that's one thing our fans are telling us, or what I'm getting back from them, is that the beauty of listening to The Shield Within is that we get a lot of good information on our mental health. Plus, we got a few laughs thrown in the middle of it. So.
Absolutely.
And I've listened to a few other podcasts that are similar to us or in the mental health. And oh my God, one of them I listened to, I was fucking more depressed after I listened. I'm like, I got to shut this fucking thing off. This is terrible. I shouldn't say it was terrible. I mean, it was good
information, but
good information. Yeah, but it was just, I don't know. It just wasn't resonating with me. But
I want to be entertained.
Yeah, exactly.
And that shit isn't entertaining.
Right.
I mean, it's just I got this one incredibly awesome client. I've known him a while, and I think of him as spiritually gifted. He is connected in a way that is just organic. He doesn't have to work at it at all. But he's reading like every fucking self-help book he can find, and I think, dude, that's the exact wrong thing to do.
Right.
Go find something that's going to make you belly laugh.
Right.
That's therapy. The self-help books are for the folks who can't find a belly laugh, I guess. Right. I don't know. But there's plenty of stuff that can make you laugh, man. I mean, the self-help stuff just, God, it just keeps you embedded in this mindset of seriousness.
Oh, yeah. Put on some Three Stooges videos, dude.
Oh, God. Yes.
That book I was telling you guys about that I read called Worthy. It was so hard to get through. And I knew that it was like, it came highly recommended to me from a colleague, and she was like, I know what you're going through, like this is it. And I struggled. I'm like, this girl needs to lighten up just a tad, like bring in a joke or something.
Right.
Because it was very hard to digest. Like it was but the information was good. And I know that's probably the same with these podcasts, right? Like they have great information, but you just got to lighten the load a little bit.
That's
you
right.
got to lighten
Have
it.
some fun.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Well, remember who you're talking to, who's your audience. And we are jokesters. We enjoy dark humor. And, we can be depressed and laugh and talk about being depressed and make fun of ourselves and all of that at the same time of being, being present in doing the work.
Yes.
So,
the work is hard and fun.
You learn so much about yourself. You have to appreciate it and enjoy those pieces of it. I mean, geez, I can't tell you, like, I've learned so much about myself and what I'm capable of doing just in the since the beginning of the year.
Awesome.
I learned how to crochet. So
do you like it?
You're getting
I am cracking up at that. So it's fun. It's something for my mind to do.
Yes.
Right. And so everything is always like learning, whether it's real estate or the market or just looking at houses or crunching numbers for flips or working with clients and all of that. And I'm like, I have to get away from it. So sitting down, then I find myself scrolling on Zillow or scrolling through my emails. And it's always like it never was leaving. And, then my husband and we also now are flipping houses and we have rentals. And so everything surrounding me was work related. I'm like, I need to check out.
Yes.
And so on New Year's Eve, we were at my sister's house and she was just sitting there crocheting. She's 1 year older than me. And I was like, I got to learn how to do that.
awesome.
And she taught me, and I've literally just sit on the couch and I just focus on what am I making.
Yes.
And it's
Donnie would like for you to make him a crocheted bikini.
I don't have.
Yes, that would work.
I don't have enough yarn for
Or
that.
a ball hammock or something.
I can do that. I've learned all kinds of stitches. Yeah, so now like things that I'm looking at is like YouTube videos of like how to make a hat quick, and you know, that's like kind of just checking out, but still teaching myself something, keeping my mind and my hands busy.
Yes.
So then I don't have to eat. Just like,
right.
When you get bored, you know, you're like, I have nothing else to do. I'm just going to eat. And I'm like, I'm going to crochet instead.
It doesn't matter. That's my process addiction, so I'm going to eat
You need
regardless.
to crochet instead.
I used to crochet. My grandmother taught me how to crochet years ago.
How cool is that?
What a talent. That shit is hard.
It is, but it's...
My fingers cramp. I'm like...
But she showed me all the... I couldn't do it today. I mean, it's, like I said, learned behavior. But when I was like... I don't know, 10, 11. I'm like, what are you doing? Because crocheting is different than knitting.
Oh, yeah.
Total different. But, you know, I see a lot of, well, like her friends at the dispatch center, a lot of people, that's what they do, is they'll crochet in the meantime. But are you all right over there, Donnie?
I am. It's just people like you that I needed to go to the dispensary.
Every time anybody says anything about dispatch, all I think about is Gonzalez.
We don't have Karen on. I had her down for...
Tip 316. Go ahead. There's a shooting downtown. Can you please respond? I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you sex talking? It's a murder.
I had her down for...
I love her. She's the sweetest woman.
Yeah.
I just love her.
Yeah, she's so much fun.
We need to have her on. Her and Dr. David, we're going to make a mill.
Oh, my God. What a great combination. Talk about your AMSR?
ASMR.
ASMR.
Whatever.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'll shoot
Invite
her a
right
text.
now.
I'll shoot her a text, see if she wants to come on the show.
Shit.
But,
did you get that? Hey, Sue, you want something from the Dairy Queen? You want that one too?
Oh,
no.
You and I said that together.
Gosh. Sorry, Dr. David.
You're fine, man.
But no, anyway, we had her down for SFSTs, which is, she was one of my volunteer drinkers, and we just had so much fun.
I bet. I love her. So having your mind set on something.
Excuse me.
Do it. Crochet. Watch out for depression in the back seat. It's unbuckled.
I thought that was a good analogy. You know, I'm not depressed now, but it's in the car with me. It's like in the back seat, and I thought that was just such
real.
But it jumps up in the front seat with you when you don't expect it.
Like the wild, unhinged toddler.
Yeah,
it's throwing shit at you from the back, dropping little. That's what I was gonna say. Why I'm so like tired, because I can't do anything physically because of my injury. So like really talking about the physical health aspect, like getting up and doing stuff, your energy level sustains itself. But like with that's probably why I'm like so tired.
Can you cycle? Can you bike?
So today he told me that I could. We have the Bowflex Max Trainer 16 whatever total body. It's like a kind of like a stair stepper, but also an elliptical, so it's like easier on your joints. But he told me I could do it for 2 minutes and then stop for 5, and I couldn't have any resistance. So that's the first
because you don't want to be putting pressure on that nerve,
right? But like it's weird because we have a whole home gym, we have red light therapy, we have all this stuff, and I'm like, I can't.
Sciatica is the most miserable fucking injury in the world.
Yeah.
When I was off that summer, when we were talking about, like, you left us for 6 months or whatever.
We had an armed robbery. Jimmy brought a rider.
Had a rider on board. I was laughing. I was just envisioning people that's going to be listening to the show.
All the
look
chaos.
on their face.
Oh my God. Yeah, and I'm like, we had no sergeant. And then I called him one time and he's like in Detroit, drunk as hell.
Well, yeah.
At some car show. And I'm like, what are you doing? We need your help. The chief, he knew we didn't have a sergeant. He's like, yeah, we're just going to let him sink.
They really didn't care. Well, they could have called me.
It's just Tip City. I had the biggest drug bust of my life.
You never answered the fucking phone any other time. Why would you answer it tonight? We'll fix that. Get you motherfuckers out of bed all the time. Tell dispatch, start making phone calls, and don't stop till someone answers.
Back to the good life. Back to the good stuff.
You're going to get me all triggered.
Yeah, I feel like
triggered. It's been an hour. Let's wrap this shit up.
Okay, sounds good.
Donnie, what are you going to take us out with?
Oh, one thing like I said, we were talking about that centering, and I thought about that too with you, Sarge, when you were talking about
pegging,
your tactical breathing in the past. Huh?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Jesus Christ! In the name of the Father, your tactical breathing asshat.
Oh my God!
and just the same thing with that. Back to the centering. So, double salute.
Good boy, Donnie.
All right, The Kelli, go ahead.
I was joking, jacking around.
You're jacking it up.
Stay centered.
He popped a gummy.
He did.
He couldn't wait a minute longer.
All right, Kelli, we're going to wrap us up with.
I love you.
I love you too.
Come from a place of happiness. Oh, he's a papal with the creepy caramels in his pocket.
Ooh. Yeah, reach in my front pocket and get that
it's
out of there.
It's okay. It's right here. Just grab.
Keep reaching.
Grab around till you find it. Does anybody else know those as the creepy caramels?
No, I don't.
So there's already one there.
We called them the creepy caramels because every creepy old person would be like, "Oh, do you want a candy?" And I'm like, only if it's a Werther's. And they would pull the Werther's out.
Yeah. Is there a hole in there too?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, just be aware.
Man. Jesus.
I'm gonna leave with that. I really, these last 2 episodes really kind of made it clear for me to be able to just kind of identify those things. Be aware. I have been feeling really good, but I've had a lot to focus on. So kind of like eye-opening for the, I know it's there. It's there. Just be aware of it.
It's your backseat passenger.
Yeah,
Is that like the dark passenger from Dexter? I feel like I could go out and murder somebody. Do you not have to give me the look?
What's Dexter?
Dexter is a series that's on Showtime.
Yeah, the guy that is the serial killer.
Yeah, he's a serial killer.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, that dark passenger, that depression, it's always there. And it's managing it, getting proper amount of sleep. We were joking and talking about the gummies. I mean, I start going to the dispensary, and my sleep is so much better now. Especially if you're retired. We were talking about using them. It should be allowed, because that's our number one problem, is getting our first responders to sleep.
Right.
And my colleague that reached out, and I said, "Have you tried some gummies?" He's like, "No, I haven't." Of course, being a cop the whole time, I didn't see it. Donnie, caught you out of the corner of my eye. But did you pop another?
Kelly's doing it.
No, is that the finger thing you're talking? Is that what you're talking about?
The gummies?
No, the finger thing. Centering yourself with your fingers.
Yeah, the tapping he's talking about.
That's what you're talking about. Oh,
tapping is back and forth.
Oh,
tapping.
You're on top
of your. How do you do that while you're driving?
Well, Dr. David even said, your feet and stuff. Just tap out your toes,
Take your toes.
And start focusing on that and thinking on that.
Gotta be on the gas, on the brake, on the gas, on the brake.
Only if you're in a spin.
Yeah. No.
Behind the car.
No. Listen.
I'm centering everybody.
My 15-year-old. My 15-year-old is driving now.
I know. I was really expecting to bring him up. I give him some tips.
He's a basketball.
Give him some pointers.
Mommy needs a ride home.
Hey,
yeah.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
All right, David. What do you got?
Thank you, everybody, for listening. We appreciate all of you very, very much. Every month, every episode, we love having you listen and pay attention and let us know what you think of what we're doing. And with February coming up, winter, as we're all saying, keep yourself in touch with yourself. Keep yourself in touch with what makes you happy, what makes you smile, what makes you belly laugh. Do a lot more of that. Get out of the house, move, pick up the phone, call somebody. Do something active that's an act of love for yourself.
Well said.
Very good.
Donnie.
I'm good. The key to music.
May your days and nights find you strong and safe. May you take your place as your family's face. As you do the shit that we won't do. As you embrace the risk you must go through. May you grow in strength and heal and find your heart, your soul, and your mind. You look at your life and grin. You have a home, the shield within.